I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a radio announcer. I'm a high school football coach. And since I was old enough to stand on the side of a stream next to my dad, I've been an angler. I've fished with bait, lures, and flies. I've fished with spinning gear, fly rods, jigging poles, and tip-ups. I've stood on ice, waded rapids, and been tossed about the deck of a boat. And I want you to love fishing, be it freshwater or salt, heavy flows, high seas, or cutting through a foot of ice, as much as I do, no matter what the quarry, no matter the tactics, no matter the chosen tackle. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Thursday, August 11th. It's hot, it's steamy, and there's a lot going on in the fishing world. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop here on the HAN network. What's going on this week? You've got Free Fishing License Day Saturday in Connecticut. This is one of the ones you do have to get a license for. We'll have more on that later. O-Search is about to launch Expedition New York. We had Chris Fisher on not long ago talking about their search for great whites and their efforts to save them. Interesting story. You can get that on our website. And we're just back from the Catskill Fly Fishing Center and Museum, where they celebrated two big milestones: the 35th anniversary of the center and the 100th birthday of Agnes Van Putt, who anybody who's been there will know. Let's say happy birthday to Agnes. What does Agnes Van Putt mean to the Catskill Fly Fishing Center and Museum?
Agnes is the soul of the museum, 100 years strong. She is not only institutional memory of the center and the organization in its 35 years of incorporation, she is also a smile, a caring heart and hands if you need some assistance, and just a joy to be around. She is a treasure.
I started thinking, what exactly is 100 years? I mean, we know what it is. It's 100 years. It's a century. But then I started thinking about what happens in 100 years, how much things can change. So I started to do a little research, and there it is. 1916, what was going on 100 years ago when Agnes was born? The second Rose Bowl was played. Washington State beat Brown University. The PGA Association was met and formed. I didn't know half of this stuff. The Baltimore Symphony played its first orchestra and concert on February 11th. One of the biggest battles of World War I, think about it, World War I began, and that was the Battle of Verdun. There's one other that I thought was kind of neat. I believe it was... Did the Panama Canal open? That's not on the list. See, you teach me something every time. Easter Uprising against the British occupation began in Dublin in 1916. So there's just a lot of different things that happened. But for us, one of the most important things that happened was Agnes was born that year. She is not only the matriarch of her family, she's really kind of the matriarch of the Fly Fishing Center. She's the warmth and welcome that people see when they come across our bridge. She is the hostess here, and she makes everyone feel so special that they've been here a million times, even if it is their first time. If you're lucky enough to be here on a Saturday when there's a guest fly tyer, you get a goodie, you get some treats. Maybe some rum cake or some strawberry shortcake or some cookies. And I was always so happy when I would have to work on a Saturday and I would get to take something home. I think only ever the rum cake made it home, nothing else. When Shelley and I worked here together with Agnes, we would be sitting and having lunch, and she would tell us these incredible stories of what her life was like, how different it was working then, what she made, or you could almost say didn't make at that time. And we would be on the edge of our seat just listening to this wealth of history and this joy of a life. And then you get to go to her house and you get to see this wall that has her history, her life on it. The people that she's met, the President Jimmy Carter that she met, all the different awards that she's received from Sullivan County. And then you get to sit down and she makes tea and you get cookies and you always get more than one. And she waits on you and you're 5 again at your grandmother's house. It is amazing. She's worked here at the center for 31 of the 35 years that we have been around. So she is, yeah, here. So 100 years can be that. It can be just 100 years. It can be the blink of an eye. But it also can be a lifetime. And Agnes has made it one heck of a good life. So happy birthday. This is something from the directors, myself, the members. This is for you. Happy birthday. Thank you. So we went with some Swarovski crystals. Okay. And Aileen, if you'd like to come up, I believe you have something to present to Agnes as well.
Yeah. You forgot to mention her soup.
Oh gosh, how can I forget your soup?
First casting day, we always go in for soup and the wonderful cookies. I love it. She's been a pleasure to get to know, and I consider Agnes one of my very, very good friends. And so I feel a little emotional.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ivy. Oh, yeah. But anyway, I thought it was important. I have a big mouth, so I don't really need that. Anyway, this is a proclamation from the New York State Assembly, from the state of New York, congratulating Agnes Van Putt upon the occasion of celebrating her 100th birthday. Agnes Van Putt is proud grandmother of 6 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. Agnes has experienced the incredible joys and sorrows characteristic of and reserved for those with the stamina and courage to savor the full life. The beloved woman has enriched the lives of those around her, and truly you have. And through those joyous and sincere love for others, and through the charm and wisdom which comes only from the fullness of years, it is custom to publicly recognize those who have reached such a remarkable age, and who have witnessed and celebrated the innovation, cultural developments, and awesome achievements of this country during the last century, while themselves contributing to the growth and the excellence of this great empire state.
Thank you. Well, I got one thing to say. What one of my great-granddaughters said to me, "Grandma, you're as old as the national parks."
Happy birthday, dear Agnes. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, now cut the cake. I'm hungry. Agnes, when did you first start helping out here at the center?
In 1985, Carol Adolph was here, and she asked would I want to help out, and I said certainly, because I knew Elsie Darby. We used to house sit for them when they went up on the Margaree River. And the center means an awful lot to me. It's like a second home. And I've met so many people. And it's a shame. They're gone and I'm still here.
And so it's the people that keep you coming back?
It's the people that keeps me coming back. And it's something always to look forward to. If you have nothing to look forward to in life, you might just as well give up. And I think that's what keeps me going, meeting people from all over the world. And it's really something to do, and keeps me going.
And I think you know a lot about the center. I think a lot of people rely on you for your knowledge of the center.
I know a lot about the center, but don't ask me about fishing. I didn't do that much fishing. I don't know too much about that.
But there was fishing in the family.
Oh yes, Ed is my son, Ed Van Putt. And he wrote the 3 books. Yes. Yes, and my husband fished. We traveled all over the U.S. We went to Alaska, British Columbia, the Yukon, Upper California, Oregon, Montana, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and we camped all the way. My husband did not like restaurants. He did not like hotels, motels. So we roughed it. And being in the outdoors was just great.
I'm just so happy to see you every time I come here. And I just want happy birthday, Agnes. Enjoy
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan, and you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. This Thursday, August 11th, John Kovach with you. Can't wish Agnes Van Putt happy birthday enough, and it was great to see her. This weekend was also Summerfest up at the Catskill Fly Fishing Center and Museum, which is also celebrating a birthday, its 35th. We were in the presence of fly fishing royalty, and let's hear their recollections of how the center started.
This has been a wonderful weekend with so many people involved in all the things that we have to offer. Thank you for coming. This is really all about Agnes, but the background is that the Catskill Fly Fishing Center is 35 years old. And the reason it's here is because of Elsie Darby and the dream that she had. She and Harry fished every year in Nova Scotia on the Margaree River. And there was a small museum there, which sparked her interest in having one here. So when Lee and I moved here in 1978, there was already talk about a museum, and all of a sudden there was a group that wanted to be founders. And so we met in the Roscoe Firehouse once a week, and came up with the idea of doing it. Joe Horak was our legal man, and he said, don't make it just a museum, make it a center museum, so that we wouldn't be limited in all the things that we can offer you. The original members the founders were 13, and I'm just going to read their last names. Some of you may find them familiar. Debbie, Renner, Bach, Horak, Wolf, Lee, Freed, Sprague, Morse, Hobbs, and Farley Manning, who became our first president after Elsie. We met once a week, as I said, in the firehouse, and when we talked about becoming incorporated, it was Joe Horak who suggested that we have a museum in the center. Our first home was in a storefront in Roscoe. Were any of you here then? Yes, right, okay. But we wanted, of course, to have bigger property. And Doc Freed was the leader in finding this 53 acres with a footbridge. That's all there was. And so we then needed to raise money to build the bridge. Sandy Stone and Frank Pollinish figured out how to do that. They invited fly fisherman and former president Jimmy Carter to come visit us for a fundraiser. And Jimmy Carter came and was with us for 4 days, fished with Ed Van Putt and his kids, and everybody. He was wonderful. If there were any Republican hearts, he stole them. And so we had a $500 a plate dinner, and imagine that. Today we think that's a lot. And we raised $40,000 to start with the bridge and so on. And then 2 years later, Paul Volker, who was a member of the fly fishing club at the top of the valley, he came and spent a weekend with 8 people who paid $5,000 apiece, and we were able to raise another $40,000. So that was our start, and it was a very good start.
I'm Miriam Stone, past president, now vice president of the trustees. And I haven't been here all that long, but I feel like 35 years, we've done a lot. Joan kind of left off. We dedicated that bridge, she and Lee, in 1985. During that time, or before that time, there was only a footbridge over the river. It was almost a landlocked property because 17 had come through. But it was an old farmstead, and the building that you first come into on the Wolf Gallery was, below that was a barn. The house was now what is the shop with an addition onto the office building. And the first thing that they started doing was tearing that down. The reason that we really incorporated was the education of children and the education of people for fly fishing. 300 people gave $10, and that started a grassroots building process. So the 80s were the buildings. The minute the bridge was done, of course, we all started talking about building a museum. And that took planning, it took a lot of fundraising, and in 1995, we were able to dedicate a building with Elsie's daughter being cutting the ribbon. So we were able to fulfill Elsie's dream. At that time, we were well into the 90s, and that's when I call the campus was being filled out. In other words, we had a pavilion built, we had environmental weekends where kids were coming in, we had TU people using the campus. We had TGF involved in the stream for the disabled. By doing all of these, we got more than just this small community right here involved. And that's what started the ball rolling on building what we are today. Around about beginning of the 2000s, why we decided we were really running out of room, if you can imagine that. We had gone through, starting out in the 1980s, collecting stuff. We had 2 shops. We had the first museum down in Roscoe. We moved that up to the, what is now the gift shop. And we finally had a new museum for all of those artifacts. But what we wanted was more, always more. And we wanted more people involved. And by having the clubs, as I said, TU, TGF, the Catskill Fly Tires, and then came along the bamboo rod makers. And they were very interested in helping us in building a building. We needed an addition onto the museum, or we needed something. Well, when we started looking for adding onto the museum, we were talking $3 million. I was president at that time, and I said, there's no way. I mean, $3 million, this is crazy. So what we ended up is this building right here. And we had it, engineers, architects, a trio that did all this for us. We had people from everywhere giving us monies, just like they did when we built the bridge. We had, if you notice, the bridge has little name cards on it, little brass names. Everybody that gave a certain amount of money was given a foot of the bridge. We started out here with the Wolf 500, and that was $500 a person, and you'll see plaques around the building of how we raised that money. Again, it was grassroots, and it was the people that did it. In 2014, we were able to dedicate this building. We had gone through the 90s doing a lot of events, bringing people in, doing events in New York City, taking from the birthday party in 1990 for Lee Wolf, which was at the Waldorf Astoria. We've gone to the Anglers Club, the Explorers Club, the Patroons Restaurant, to involve the tri-state people. And that has been very successful. Back to the rod makers. They are a group of at least 125 that come here for a long weekend, and they build a rod. And they love what we've got down in the basement. I hope some of you that haven't been here do come. I shouldn't call it the basement. But we have a complete set of rod making equipment. All the machines, all antique. The latest collection that we are very proud of is the Carmichael Garrison collection. For you fishermen, you know what that is. But people like the rod makers, this is a group that are not organized. They talk to each other. They're on the web all the time, and they gather once a year, and they're all involved in this building because they gave money towards building it. From 2014 on, it became more of a back to events and making money, getting money to keep us all going. And that has been rather interesting. The economy kind of fell apart, and so we've had our struggles. But over 35 years, if you think back, we all had our struggles during all those periods of time. The best quote that we can have, though, came from Ernie Schwiebert, who was a Hall of Famer here, and you fishermen will know him very well. But his quote, after being introduced and inducted into the Hall of Fame, was, "This museum and center is alive. There are some museums that are a repository for dead things. The Catskill Museum is a repository of fishing things that continue to breathe life into the sport. And we all have to get these young people so that they catch on to the sport."
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. My property taxes on my single-family home were close to $20,000 a year. Now that I've downsized and I'm in a townhome, and because of the condo tax laws, my fees have gone from $20,000 down to about $5,300 with the star exemption. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break.
I'm Frank Granito. And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network. Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Wednesday, where we bring you all the top stories for Connecticut sports. From players and coaches' interviews to expert opinions with local sports editors, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports. Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. This Thursday, August 11th, John Kovach with you. So happy birthday to Agnes Van Putt. Happy birthday to the Catskill Fly Fishing Center and Museum. We'll have a piece on an upcoming show about the present and future of the center, not to sound like Charles Dickens' ghosts. Big news just off our waters this week as O-Search, who we had on in June, is about to launch Expedition New York. That interview with Chris Fisher you can find at the Yankee Fisherman website, han.network. Shows drag down to Yankee Fisherman. Not too early to get ready for the annual WICC 600 Port Jeff Ferry Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth. That's coming up 2 weeks, Saturday, August 27th, Sunday, August 28th, out on the Sound. The guaranteed cash prizes total $44,000. Registration is open at 203-366-BLUE at any of the registration stations, which are most of the tackle shops in the area, or online at WICC600.com. We're hoping to do a segment on that beforehand, but whether we do or not, we'll have coverage of the Bluefish Tournament. Snapper Blue Tournament coming up for the kids through Fairfield PAL. We'll have a little more on that next week. Connecticut DEEP is conducting a survey with the Association of Wildlife, Fish and Wildlife Agencies, So they are calling home or sell. If you do get a call, they're trying to help shape policy. They do need your help, and it's important that we weigh in as sportsmen and conservationists. Three Bells Marina, who we were visiting not that long ago, is having another First Cast event. That is Saturday. You can get information on their Facebook, their website, or at 860-691-3001. That's a chance to try out kayaks, try out fishing. They've got some real experts, great guys. I met them when I was up there. Take you out, let you get used to it. Something fun I'm going to have to do sometime in the very near future. And Saturday's a great day for all of us to do that, because it's Free Fishing License Day in Connecticut, which means that you can take anybody fishing. They just need to go online and get a fishing license. They get it for free. It's a one-day, and then they can fish for the day. You can teach somebody new, introduce somebody new to the sport. We didn't get a lot of fishing in this week's show, so let's leave you with some images from a recent trip to Fife Brook.